Well, hello my loves, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In case you're new, my name is Antonio McNeil, your favorite Gen Z realtor, hustler, entrepreneur, and go-getter. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Now for today's topic, we're going to discuss how to purchase a property. Today I am drinking some lemonade. It is light on calories and it is raspberry. So you can tell that I'm a little bougie, but I'm all about quality content. So please like and subscribe for quality content. Honey, if you're not in my state, just please talk to a local lender or a realtor that you trust in your state to give you some more accurate information on buying a property in your state. But of course, a lot of the information I'm going over today, it will apply to you even if you're not in California. So do not be alarmed. Enjoy the show. You may not need down payment assistance. You may qualify for down payment assistance programs, but in case you don't want to be ready to buy a home with no down payment set aside, because most likely you're going to need some type of down payment. Now, here's another misconception though. You don't need 20% down of a sales price of a home. The average in California is around 3.5% of the sales price for a down payment. So for example, if you're buying a home for $500,000, multiply that with 3.5% and then equal all that together, that amount will be your down payment amount after equating all the numbers together. Now, okay, that seems like a lot, but again, even if it's a lot and you're not in that range, start preparing to save even $500 every other month or $100 every month. Whether you save $500 every month, multiply that by 12, that's $6,000. In 3 years, you're gonna have 18 grand. Okay, so in 3 to 5 years, you can get that house if you just start doing little things by saving and getting a little bit ahead. I know everybody's situation is a little different, but there are ways that you can start saving for that down payment. There's also 1% loan programs. Okay, so even if you don't think you can qualify and have 3.5% down, like that's too much of a down payment, you might be able to qualify for a 1% program. Those are more traditional loan programs though. They are more conventional and they do require higher credit scores. And we'll discuss that in a later video. So don't feel like that 3.5 is the only option. It's just the most common. So talk with the lender to see what options you have on down payment percentage amounts and see if you might even qualify for less. And meaning you put less out, that means everybody's happy. Okay. Way of tackling the down payment scenario if you don't have it yourself. Let's say that you might have a friend, family member, I should say, that is willing to help you with some down payment funds. You can also get down payment funds from a different source as a gift in most cases, but it has to be with a family member. So if you're in that position where you have somebody in your family who is willing to give you some help and you have that opportunity, don't be prideful. If you have an opportunity to get some money from family, use it as a gift if down payment is the biggest hurdle when buying a property for your own situation. Have good credit. Establish good credit. Oh my gosh. If having money is not the most important thing in this country, it's also having good credit. That is crazy that it's not talked about enough even in high school. Like what the I don't know, but let's go over that. So if you want to buy a property, the lowest score that you're really going to want to even have is 660. Now, you can qualify for some lending programs at 500 credit score, maybe even a little less than that, but it's highly unlikely that you're going to get a good interest rate or even qualify for that matter for enough loan amount to buy the house that you want. So you really want to have at least 660 or higher. In today's market with the pandemic, it used to be before the pandemic, you could easily qualify for like 580 or 620 with most programs, but now that's not the case. Because of the pandemic and because things have just kind of affected the entire world in such a dramatic year, you are looking at more common lenders only approving 660 or higher for a loan approval. So if you are looking at 620, 640, talk with the lender and see how you can increase your credit to get to a 700. Ideally, if you're anything over 660 or 680, you're going to get the better interest rates. No, is you may not need credit repair. So if you feel like you're a couple points behind and you're not even that far off, talk with a lender that you know. Some lenders do a credit simulator with their own company. They'll pull your credit for you. It might take a couple dings off your credit score, but it's a soft hit. So maybe 3 points the most, but it's so worth it, okay? Because if they do this for you, they'll be able to tell you a better idea of what you can do on your own to increase your credit score. So it's gonna obviously require you to pay some credit card bills off in some situations, it might be a student loan that you have to pay off, a car loan, but the credit card simulator that the lender pulls up for you, they'll be able to give you a better idea, so you don't have to have a credit repair company where you're paying monthly to do it for you. So there's two options you can do. You can do it yourself with a lender as far as increasing your credit score, or you can go to a credit repair company and have them do it for you. The only downside with the credit repair company is they can't also guarantee when it's going to give you results with the services that they provide. So, like they work, but in a pandemic, we don't just have money like that to just be spending on credit repair. So if you have a lender you trust and you want tips on how to get your credit up, talk with the lender first, because it's going to cost you a lot less to do that. And up front, it costs you nothing to get the credit pulled. So that's just a little tip. Now let's say that you're in the situation where most Gen Z people are in, where you don't have any credit at all. And that's like the biggest hurdle in why you can't buy a house. Like, obviously it's going to be a problem. So if you have no credit at all established, but you maybe have your mother, father, or somebody in your family that you're very close to that has a credit card already established, ask if you can be a co-authorized user. So anytime that they're making payments and it reflects on their score, it's going to reflect on your score. So then you build up your credit. It's awesome. So sometimes having a little handout, whether it's a down payment handout or a credit handout, it's a good handout. So I'm a prideful person. Sometimes I'm very stubborn, but in a situation where your credit is involved, if you have a person in your family that already has established credit and they're willing to help you, take it. I promise you're going to love them for the rest of your life. And one of the very important steps is maintaining your debt to income ratios. Girl, please. Just look at how much money you're bringing in. That's your income. Okay. Then look at how much money that is being spent, whether it's bills, personal bills, whatever. That's your debt. Now, if you have your income here, but then your debt here, and let's say your income is $5,000. Okay, so high $5,000, but then your debt is $4,000. That means you only have about $1,000 in profit that you're seeing every month. Realistically, you're only having about $12,000 in profit a year. That's not a lot of money to qualify for a loan on a property, right? So if you have less debt, you're gonna have a higher chance in qualifying for not only more loan programs, but for also better interest rates too, and for a lesser monthly mortgage payment. So debt to income ratios are very important. How do you manage your debt to income ratio? Of course, talking with the lender can be very helpful. Like I said before, they do a credit simulator, but you can even do it yourself. Sit down in your room, sit alone, and just look at your finances and really think about what you can, knock off. Like for me, I already knocked off Netflix. Only reason why I have Hulu is for football, because I'm such a nut like that. But try to find things that you can cut off. If it's Netflix, if it's Starbucks every month, and you start saving up a couple $100 there, you'll start making more income again every month that you can use as, income for buying a property. So I don't want to go off topic, but again, manage trying to have less debt that you're bringing in every month versus the income. Because if you're bringing in enough income every month after your debts are accounted for, you're going to be in a really, really good position. Okay? Step in buying a property is obviously having all the documents ready for your pre-approval. Your pre-approval will show how much the bank or lender, I should say, is going to qualify you on buying a house for. So if you want to buy a house for $400,000, you won't be able to know if you can qualify for it until you get that pre-approval. Now, the documents that you're going to need are going to be, in most cases, 2 years of your W-2s, or if you're self-employed, 1099 of your tax returns, and you're also going to want bank statements, pay stubs, recent bank statements from your job. And again, these are the most standardized documents. Maybe you'll need different documents, so check in with your local lender if you're ready to start that process. But these are the main documents. Keep in mind, you may need to send updated bank statements even if you're in the process of buying a home with your lender. So just have everything prepared. It's never a bad thing to be prepared, even if it's like 3 weeks ahead of schedule. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's say you have all the documents prepared and you sent it to your lender within the same day or maybe even the same week, you'll know how much you can buy a house for when you get your pre-approval back. It's a really quick process. Now, another thing is try to find a home that is not exceeding your loan amount, because your lender won't qualify you for more than they're putting on that pre-approval amount. So if they're pre-approving you for a $500,000 house, you can't buy a house for $550,000 unless you have $50,000 out of pocket that you're willing to put it down. I don't think you want to go in that position. So it's really important to have those documents prepared so you can just determine how much you're going to be able to buy on a property with a loan involved. Gathered and you get your pre-approval amount. At this point, if you haven't found your right realtor, I advise that you look for the right realtor for your home search, which is me, or it could be somebody else. And when you find that person, have them work for you. Don't be rude to your realtor, especially if they're a great realtor and they love you and they kiss your ass like I do. But if you find a realtor, you also are finding somebody that is going to be doing one of the biggest financial investments of your lifetime. They're helping you with that. So expect them to do what you expect them to do. Tell them, like, I expect you to show me these type of properties. I want a house with only pools. I want a house with no carpet. Okay, whatever you want, tell them that, because without communicating with your realtor, you'll never know. And if you want tips on how to find the right realtor, you gotta wait until next week when I discuss it in next week's video. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you have any more questions and comments on how to buy a home in California, maybe things I didn't go over, of course, comment and subscribe before you leave. And thank you again, my loves. Have an amazing day and stay fabulous.